and I think in a way the proof of the effectiveness that the Israel Defense Force is having is shown by the casualty ratios. It's a terrible thing to reduce human life to statistics, but in a world where Israel is condemned, vilified on the basis of lying propaganda, which says that the IDF is deliberately trying to kill innocent civilians or is being indiscriminate, is not obeying the laws of war, I think it's necessary to use this sort of data to basically disprove that argument. And if you take the casualty ratios, the civilian to military casualty ratios, working on the figures that the Hamas Gaza Health Ministry has produced, which we can't rely on, but we don't have anything else. So let's assume for a moment they're roughly correct. Plus the IDF's assessment of the number of terrorists they've killed in Gaza since the ground war began. You have a ratio of approximately 1.3 or 1.5 civilians for every terrorist that's killed. And that does sound bad. It sounds as it should be the other way around at worst. But actually, if you compare that to other casualty ratios, the United Nations put out a report a few years back saying that in urban conflict, since the Second World War, around the world, the average casualty ratio have been 9 civilians killed for every 1 combatant, 9 to 1. That is disputed, that ratio, but that's what the UN said at one point. What we do know more accurately, perhaps, is that in Afghanistan and Iraq, the estimates are that the US and its allies, including the UK, inflicted approximately 3 to 5 civilian casualties for every 1 combatant. So if you compare the two, 3 to 5 to 1 and 1.3 approximately to 1, you can see that Israel is succeeding in a much more demanding environment, for the reasons I've already discussed, in minimizing the deaths of innocent civilians.
My goodness, Richard. So you have Hamas on the one side, basically pushing their civilians into harm's way, Israel trying its level best not to hit them and to get at Hamas behind those civilians. And all the while, the world is going...
No, the world is upside down in this respect in particular. And you know, I was over here a few years ago with a group of generals, retired generals from around the world, from many countries in the world. And we were studying a previous conflict here in Gaza, which also involved land operations. And one of the conclusions of this group of generals was they expressed their concern in the report that we wrote, which was that their own armies, British, American, Canadian, Australian, Indian, numerous other armies around the world, German, French, would not be able to achieve the same success at minimizing civilian casualties as the IDF had done. They felt the IDF had set, in a way, too high a bar in this area of warfare.